What's going on, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music as a musician myself. In this case, visual novels, which is more than okay. And we return with a series I just had right before this video with Muv-Luv. I just debuted it, and now we're back with more. We're going to be listening to Meiya, from the channel The Faustian, and For You Who Departs from Muv-Lunch. Okay. Now we see a new character. We actually see a character this time. Seems to be a kind of mech thing going on, and the last two songs kind of surprised me, to put it lightly. So we are moving on to this set, and these are still requested by Darden. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. This one, this one has some information, but I'm gonna wait to read that until after the song is over. This is Meiya. Seems to be a character theme from Muv-Luv Alternative. Let's go. Ballad territory. I've heard 3 songs so far, and they're all so different from each other. Her whole outfit is purple. Everything. Harp. On this side. Man, this is emotional. There's a lot of harp. Meiya seems like a very extremely important character. Hold on, trumpets. Kind of reminds me of the prelude over here. Wow. Even the percussion is emotional. feel like tears are meant to be shed here or something. It went in a completely different direction than I thought it was going to go. And that's based off two things. One, the previous songs I just heard, which were not like that at all. And also this image, which of course it's going to have to influence me somehow. Well, three things actually. The name, right? I assume this is Meiya. And I was like, okay, a character theme. Like maybe an introduction to the character or something character. So, and just based on how she looks very kind of like boss character. I kept thinking of like Metal Gear Rising, like Raiden, you know, like very fast, nimble, and deadly. So, you know, none of those things were preparing me for this very emotional ballad. So it's kind of making me think this is, you know, something towards the end of the game that something bad happens to said character. And the whole thing was just this kind of emotional ride. I thought for a while it sounded like it was gonna build up, and then once it started to swell up, I thought like maybe a beat was gonna kick in. But it stayed in this, you know, highly emotional state where the percussion is just hitting on really certain bars to kind of impact. I guess impact is like a good way to put the whole song in perspective. It just felt like a cinematic experience and something really big is happening. And that's kind of all I got from that. You know, it took me for a loop thinking that I was going to hear some, based on the last song I heard, I thought it was gonna be like a really electronic based joyride or something, but let me see what this information says here. But that seems very serious. Visual novel, Muv-Luv alternative. So I think it's actually called, I didn't know this, but I think it's Muv-Luv alternative. I've just been calling it Muv-Luv. Studio is Age composer. Oh, there's too many. There's a lot of composers here. But like I said, the channel is the Faustine if you want to see that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is more of a. It's now that I hear it, it sounds like less of a character theme and more of a what happens to the character. And again, I'm trying to picture all these songs with dialogue on the screen, and like, you know, the text has to be. That's another thing too, right? If it's the way that I think it is, I touched upon this in the previous video before this. If it's how I think it is, where it's just like, you know, slides of people talking, mostly, then that's kind of tricky to think about because you have to kind of score the music according to maybe people's pacing of reading, you know? That sounds kind of like a challenge within itself. I don't think, well, maybe there's some option for like auto-scrolling or something, but I'd imagine each line of text has like a, you know, you can move it whenever you want. But I'd imagine the songs are scored to kind of, you know, go along with it. So that's all I really got. It just felt very emotional and maybe a very sad scene for Meiya here. But I don't know. Was not expecting that though. Love the color. It's my favorite color. We're back to this picture again. So again, I don't know if any of these songs are connected whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. This is For You Who Departs. That title also sounds kind of, you know? Alright. Muv-Luv alternative, huh? Visual novel music. Alright. For You Who Departs. Oh man, here we go again. Oh, I forgot to mention. I'll talk about it after this song. I forgot to mention a key element of the first song. I love the piano. It's my second favorite instrument. this visual novel definitely has some sense of emotion attached to it, for sure. Trying to imagine what's happening here. The first reaction video, the last video, the songs made me think like, oh, this is all intense and cool battle stuff. Now I'm thinking you just cry the whole time. First video is so different from the second video. I'm assuming the requester decided to pair these together. Not necessarily, maybe. I don't know the context. Yeah, I will eventually with the comments. But context-wise, again, I don't know if they're related, but feeling-wise, the two pairings of the two songs seem to fit a little bit. Like the video I did before this, right before this, same visual novel, same requester. You know, pretty intense stuff, battle style music, very big, orchestral, heavy hitting, drum and bass, you know, a lot of energy basically. And then this duo is just like, it felt as though both of those songs really felt like loss to me. This one is straight up called For You Who Departs. I mean, how many things can that mean? It can mean quite literally someone takes off into whatever, or departs this planet. Something I wanted to mention about the first one really quick, I forgot to mention it, and I think it was really important. This is about the Meiya. The heavy use of the harp was everywhere. There was a lot of harp. It was all over here on the right side, but it was just everywhere, doing slower arpeggios, really fast arpeggios. And it kind of makes me think that if there's any more music relating to this character, I would have to assume that there's also harp in it. It felt very specific to that character. Anyways, that was kind of cool. You don't hear harp all the time. This one felt, I mean, what can I say? It's highly emotional, strings, choirs doing their thing. It felt like, man, I don't know how to describe this. Visual novels are definitely a part of my brain that is previously untapped, you know, so I'm kind of learning as I go. So is the auditorium in general. Like, the idea of talking about stuff on the fly and like what it's doing to me or what I'm perceiving it as. This channel is just as much as I mean, you guys are entertained in watching it. I hope, but for me, it's like I'm also learning a lot about myself and how much I can think of and spew out like at the top of my head. But I think that's why I do what I keep doing, is because they're just all natural, and it's just like what comes to my mind at the time, as opposed to I could just stop here, think about what I'm gonna say, and then come back. I think there's a much more raw humanity of me just being kind of dumbfounded by this song, and maybe I don't have a whole lot to say. Maybe I just enjoyed it and felt. I kind of wanted to feel at that moment what you guys and gals might have felt at that moment. When I hear this, I'm not hearing a menu. I'm not hearing some funny scene. I'm seeing and feeling a pretty climatic moment of despair. So I'm trying to kind of put myself in that mentality, and it's not the easiest thing to do in the world. It's quite difficult because I'm not playing it. I'm not invested. I don't know the characters. You know what I mean? But the musicians do such a good job that you can, for me at least, I can put myself in the driver's seat for a bit and kind of teleport there for a while. So me not having a whole lot to say is, to me, as much as a compliment to the composers as having a whole bunch to say about it. I'm aware that in every single video I do, and I will always get comments on this until forever, but I pretty much get a daily comment at some point of some video like, hey, next time watch footage, or if you knew the context, it would hit so much harder. And I say this in the nicest way possible. Duh. Of course. I play games too, you know. Dude, the very few times that I've sent out requests of mine for other people to do, I would love if they knew what was going on. Are they going to know? No, unless I write a huge essay. I want to see what they think of it. Just, you know, it's fun to see the guesses, but I know that not everyone's the same, and some people would just be like, well, I mean, if only you knew. Well, yeah, of course. But that's not the point. It's never been the point. I'm highlighting the music, you know, like I've always been a fan of, it reminds me of like mid 90s consoles, Sega Genesis. I think the PS1 might have done it for a little bit of its lifespan. I don't know if Nintendo ever did it, but there was like sub menus and like main menus where you could like just listen to the background music by itself. That's kind of what this channel is in a way, just that little sub menu. You know, that's no longer there. Sometimes games do it, but rarely. It's just focusing on the music, you know. But for me as a musician, I'm trying to put myself in I'm trying to put myself in your guys' position. I'm trying to put myself in a position of someone who's never read a visual novel. That's a big one. And I'm trying to put myself in the position of the musicians that composed it, and the developers and everyone else. You know, there's a whole lot of avenues that all lead into Muv-Luv alternative or any piece of media, and I have to do all that in a lightning amount of time. I don't know what I'm getting at here, but just to give you an idea of what goes through my mind through each and every single reaction here, and that's why I keep doing it. That's why I've never really been burnt out or bored of what I do. Nothing really feels like work or anything. It just feels like I'm appreciating everything for what it is at that time. And I hold it close because I know deep down, as soon as it's over, I have to move on, you know? And that kind of sucks. But at least in that moment I can... But the good thing about it is that, you know, it's video, right? It's YouTube. This is like, you can see this whenever you want. You can come back to this later. People tell me all the time that the requests that I've done for them, they'll go back and watch it just to, you know, like relive that moment again. And essentially that is what I want for everyone, is for you to relive that moment again, because you can't. And yeah, this took me in a huge tangent, but that's what the song did to me. It got me in a thinking state, an emotional state, and here we are. So let me know more about Muv-Luv Alternative. I don't know anything about visual novels. I don't know anything about this series. Feel free to gush all you want. Thank you, Darton. Thank you for the request. And I think that might be it for Muv-Luv request. I'm pretty sure there's no more, but I'm pretty sure there's still a bunch of more visual novels in general. So yeah, cool. Thank you to all my Patreon members you see here. I cannot be here without them. I say it all the time, but it's true. Thanks to you for watching. I also say that all the time because it's true. My name is Jesse. Peace.